President Byrne?
Here.
Trustee Williams?
Here.
Trustee Hebda?
Here.
Trustee Cook?
Here.
Trustee Marquardt?
Here.
Trustee Schultz?
Here.
Trustee Schwartz?
Here.
Motion carries. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, are there any citizens that wish to address the board tonight on any subject other than what's on committee of the whole? Because if it's on committee of the whole, I'll call you and you can speak then. Anyone? Okay. All right. First order of business is the swearing in of Deputy Chief Rick Davies. And I assume Chief Fleischauer will preside.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're probably going to make the temperature in the room drop by about 20 degrees in about 5 minutes, as soon as everyone leaves. Mr. President and members of the board, it gives me great pleasure to present Rick Davies, my choice for Deputy Chief, to be sworn in tonight before the board and the community. Rick, why don't you come on up? Stay right here. Stay right here where the cameras can, either way, so the cameras can see you. They can get you either way. A promotion to any rank is cause for celebration and deserves to be recognized. But a promotion to the second highest position in the police department is achieved by only a very select few in their entire lifetimes. This promotion tonight is a culmination of Rick's hard work, experience, commitment, leadership, and expertise in many areas. Rick has been a member of the Vernon Hills Police Department for just over 33 years. And in those 33 years, Rick has worked in virtually every position within the department. He has served as a commander both in patrol and investigations and coordinated the department's field training officer program for years. Rick has also been associated with a number of important leadership positions with law enforcement organizations external to Vernon Hills, including the Northern Illinois Police Alarm System, NIPAS, and the Lake County Major Crime Task Force. Now, many people might ask why he's still here after 33 years. But the one thing I know to be true is that Rick has a true passion for the job. Most people might have slowed down as they approached retirement, but Rick has just approached this in the opposite direction. In fact, in part, it's because of his experience, passion, and enthusiasm for the career that makes him the perfect choice for this position. I have every confidence in Rick's ability to perform the duties and responsibilities of this position, and I'm proud to appoint Rick to the position of Deputy Police Chief. And I would ask the village clerk / village manager to step forward and administer the oath of office, please.
His book? Give that one back though when you're done. We're gonna sign them all.
Having been appointed to the position of chief of police, appointed to the position of deputy police in the village of Vernon Hills, in the county of Lake, county of Vernon, do solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Deputy Chief of Police according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Also, has become customary, Rick has requested that his wife pin the badge on him for the first time.
Yeah, Rick's got to say a few words.
Got to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've known you a long time,
Yeah, absolutely.
and Barb Williams, Mike, and the rest of the board. I just appreciate all the help you've given me and all the support. Thanks very much. Chief, thanks for the confidence you've instilled in me for this position. I appreciate it. I won't let you down. And thank you to all the members that have shown up today, and all those that aren't even here. I know that they're working or whatever. Other people got things to do, but I appreciate it, and I won't let you down. I'll be there for you, and we're going to serve the citizens of this village the way they're supposed to be served. Again, thank you very much. And to my wife and my confidant, my best friend, and my mom. Thanks.
You want to introduce your family?
Yeah, that's a good idea, I guess. This is my mother, Lorraine, then my daughter, Brittany, my son, Paul, my wife, Ellen, and my brother, Bill. Let's start over here. My sister, Dee, my niece, Becky, my brother, Bill, and my sister-in-law, Jackie.
Great.
I think that's everybody, right? I got him already. And there's some folks that have shown up from departments that I've worked with in the investigation section. I just want to recognize Bill McGinnis in the corner there. We've worked diligently on a few cases together, especially these burglars that have been annoying our fine village. So I assure you, I will approach this the same way as I approach them. So
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And I could say with a more than reasonable degree of certainty that we'll be very proud of your efforts. We have for many, many years. And the chief was not, unduly influenced in any way. So it was his choice, and he obviously made a great one. So we're happy for you too. So thank you for your continuing service. Now, Mr. Price is another matter, No, I kid. We'll have a nice send-off at some point in time, so. Anybody want to leave, you're more than welcome to. No. For what? Oh, we do have Bill Price.
Where is he?
Wait, hold on.
Stick around,
Oh,
wait,
everybody, hang on,
don't
get
leave.
him up
Just
here.
Hold on.
has some hair on his face. Especially since it's about police pension.
He was hiding back there.
Oh, I saw it.
No, I saw him back
I
there.
didn't see it.
Oh, my God, okay.
All right.
Okay. Where is the proclamation? Roger needs his other
I
pen.
think Mike's got it. Do you have a proclamation?
Okay. Yeah, I think I do. Is it in this one? I don't either. Okay, I do.
Okay.
Okay, Bill.
Front and
Bring it
center.
out.
Come on, Bill
back
Price.
Bill Price, yes.
Get all the guys back in here.
Yeah, we weren't kidding, you gotta. Yeah,
We didn't see you back there, guy.
you're up.
All right, the mayor jumped the gun there, which you can't have it. All right, we have a proclamation, I had it there, in appreciation for service on the Police Pension Board for William Price. When William Price retired from the village on May 4th, 2012, he had served continuously on the village Vernon Hills Police Pension Board for almost 21 years, beginning in August 1991. William Price served as president of the Police Pension Board during all but 3 of those years. William Price led the Vernon Hills Pension Board through a crucial and challenging period in the pension fund's history, whereas during this 21-year period of pension board service, William Price played a pivotal role in the success of the police pension fund, overseeing the growth of its assets tenfold from $3.04 million on July 31st, 1991 to $30.4 million on April 30th, 2012. Through the values William Price has championed on the pension board, as well as through his probing questions and insights during pension board discussions, he fulfilled the fiduciary requirements of pension board service with complete and unwavering dedication. Now therefore, I, Roger L. Byrne, Village President and Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim that William Price be appreciated and thanked for his years of service on the Police Pension Board dated the 15th of May, 2012.
Thank you, Bill.
What's that?
Now I hope to turn it around and put it in my pocket.
There you go.
All right.
But at the same time, we'd be remiss if this wasn't also a thank you for all the great years of service to the village. So thank you very much for your years of service.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right, Bill, you want to say anything?
Well, I didn't come here tonight for this proclamation, although it was very nice. I came here, just to take part in the Davies ceremony.
You want to grab the mic.
I came here tonight just to take part in Rick Davies' recognition ceremony. I didn't come here for the proclamation, but I do appreciate it, as not as much as I appreciate how good the village has been to me and my family over the 30 years that I was fortunate enough to work here, and of course serve the residents. I truly do appreciate everything the village has done for myself and my family, and I hope that I've made it worth their while over the 30 years. So thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. Next item is
It's Mike next with the electric.
yeah, I'll get to it eventually.
You'll get there.
I'm getting there right now. Okay. Electric aggregation, Mike Allison.
Thank you, Mayor. Just to remind everyone once again, this is the letter, and most people in the village should have received this letter. Almost all residential and many of the smaller business customers. And what you should have, those who have not received it would be on the heating program for ComEd, or they have already signed up with an aggregator already. If you have not received this, and we'll send out a blast email on this, if you've not received the letter and you're with ComEd, again, it's your choice who you want to get supply from, but call Mike Stortle will put on the bottom of the screen the contact for Integris. Call Integris and they'll send you the materials. You can, 3 ways you can opt out if you want to opt out. This is for the people who received the letter, is through the website, postcard that's in this letter, or the 800 number, the 877 number. So again, if you haven't received this, we're kind of concerned. I know this will shock people, but the ComEd billing list isn't the greatest address list. It seems kind of hard to believe they should be billing everybody in the village, but I'm told that there could be some people that should have received the letter that didn't. So we'll emphasize that.
I got it. So
And then May 22nd is the date.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Bob reminded me of a very important thing. There's solicitors walking around, and if they don't have a license to solicit, call 911, call the police department. And if they do, then certainly, once again, you can talk to them and use them as your provider. I should say, Integris will not be soliciting that way. That is the provider the village is aggregating with the 6 other municipalities. So just so everybody knows that someone coming to your door does not represent the village of Vernon Hills, because the letters have gone out already. So just thanks, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Trustee Cook.
Mike, could you just briefly go over exactly what happens if somebody doesn't opt out? Because I've had a number of phone calls as these letters have been coming out. What's going to happen next? Could you maybe just give a quick overview?
Right. Well, I personally am going to do nothing, and that's a good way as far as at home. From the standpoint of, I got the letter at home. If you do nothing, then you're in the Integris program for the 65+% of the cost of Commonwealth Edison. And in your reading, like for example, my reading's the 9th of the month, and I would imagine in Vernon Hills it's kind of similar towards the beginning of the month. That reading, so in other words, your bill in July will have the new lowered supply rate as part of the bill. And once again, it's a ComEd bill. You probably, unless you really look at your bill closely, you probably wouldn't even notice any difference. It'll have a supplier notation on there, I think.
Right, so it should be
But-
totally seamless.
Yeah,
transition.
you wouldn't notice the difference
Except it'll
on
be
your
cheaper.
ComEd bill.
Except it'll be cheaper.
Right,
Right.
it'll be less money. It should be about 42%. Now, Trustee Cook, I'm glad you asked that. One more little technical item. Commonwealth Edison's rate is going to go down June 1 for those who stay in, but not 42%. It'll go down some because they get a power supply number from the Illinois Power Authority in May of each year. So we figure it'll go from, I think it's 8.233% now. It'll go down to something like 6.9, maybe 7. But again, we're at, down to 4. I got so many papers here. But we're going to go down to, and I don't have that sheet up here, but it's something like 4.27. So, yeah, I'm sorry, 4.775. So it's still going to be significantly less, but not quite as great as today's Commonwealth Edison rate. So, any other questions?
Any other questions from the board? Okay.
I will state that they are out soliciting.
Right.
They were out Friday.
Okay, Alzheimer.
Yeah, just a reminder to everyone, the staff decided this year, again, the American Cancer Society, very worthy cause, and many of us are involved in it in different ways. But we thought, well, this year, let's do something a little different for a fundraiser. And so we are having a luncheon on the 17th. Actually, it's the day that this will be broadcast at night, but anyway, be that as it may, we have advertising out. But walked-in Alzheimer's luncheon, and that'll be at the Arbor Theater from 11:30 till 1:30 this Thursday, May 17th. And then the walk is actually in October. So, and thanks to the board for all your support. The staff will be closed for a couple hours in the middle of the day, and the chief will smell like a barbecue by the end of the luncheon, and we're out there. And we have a good time, and a lot of people from the business community. Again, we have it at the Arbor Theater.
Well, plus you got the informational sign
Right.
flashing it out.
Right.
So that's a good thing too. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Go to the next one. Okay, EJ&E. Who's taking this one?
You're probably, yeah.
Oh, the chief's first.
Here, let me go. Hold on.
I missed it too.
I have two speaking parts tonight.
I see
All
that.
right.
The first one is on intergovernmental agreement for a T1 data line. The police department currently maintains a T1 data line between our facility and the state of Illinois for purposes of background checks, fingerprint checks, license plate checks, all those sorts of things. The cost of this line is about $861 a month, or about a little over $10,000 a year. In an effort to try and reduce costs, we began researching the possibility of sharing this data line with some of our other police departments around us. Since it is a data line for fingerprint transmissions and the like, it's not a real heavily used one, but we're required to have a T1 by the state for fingerprint faxes. So what we began doing is, like I said, is talking to some of our neighbors about the possibility of sharing that. So what you have right now in front of you is the first of probably 3 intergovernmental agreements you'll see in front of you. The first one here tonight is for the village of Lake Bluff. And under this agreement, they're going to reimburse us 1/3 of the cost of our line, which is $286 a month, or just a little over $3,400 a year. And there will be 2 more coming online. They're already connected, and as soon as the agreements are signed, we'll be able to collect the money. So essentially, our cost for our data line will go down by 2/3. We'll show a revenue of about $7,000 this year, as opposed to spending $10,000 more. So it's a good thing. There's no board action necessary at this point. This is, I'm just letting you know the actual agreement is already included in the omnibus agenda tonight. So you'll actually, if you're in favor of this, then you'll already be approving it under the omnibus agenda.
Okay. Is that it, Chief?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Dave Brown, Canadian National Railroad crossing closure. This ought to be traumatic, huh?
Absolutely. Just want to make sure that everyone is aware. We're trying to assist in getting the word out. Certainly the newspaper has done their work on it too. Specifically the railroad that crosses Butterfield Road, north of Route 60, south of 176, there will be a road closure. The road closure of Butterfield Road at the railroad crossing at the EJ&E will start Monday, May 21st at 8 o'clock. They're anticipating that the work will last till the evening of Friday, May 25th. So, please take that into account. Look for alternate routes. The detour route is posted on LDOT's website. We also have a link on our website to assist. In terms of the location, it's recommended that you use 45, 60, and 176 to try to get around that Butterfield Road detour. So anyway, just wanted to share that with the board and see if you had any, just wanted to share it with you. So.
Nope.
Yeah,
Any comments from anybody?
yeah, well, additionally, aren't they also closing the Allenson crossing for the main CN line, the 19th and 20th, I believe?
Yes.
So just for people aware in the area, that's going to be another closing for a couple of days right there. So for about 7 days, we're going to have closings in the area.
We're also going to be sending out a Connect CTY message to all the residents in the village on Sunday afternoon to remind them of this as well.
Okay. I'm getting it. I can't, this light is like,
Could you put a dimmer one right there? No,
okay.
not right now.
No, I'll do that
No.
later.
There.
God bless
Oh, that's a
you.
little better, thank you.
All right, you're right. The next item is the omnibus vote agenda.
No,
Is there a motion to approve items A through P? Right,
Prob-
the pass
probably should-
P?
Probably should pull E,
A through V, I should say.
but E needs to be pulled.
E's in Everett?
All right, E's pulled.
Right.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve items A through D, A, B, C, D, and then F through Z?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second,
F
roll
through-
call, please.
F through V?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
A through D, F through V.
V.
B?
V.
Oh, V,
V
as
is
in
in
victory.
V is in
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye?
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Okay, is there a motion to approve item E? Approval and passage of resolution 2012-084, resolution authorizing the payment of $251,000 to Kemper Sports Management for payment of salaries and benefits of the Vernon Hills Golf Course.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Abstain.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
For the record, I vote aye. Okay, Yep, you're getting there. All right, unfinished business. Approval of Kemper voucher list of bills dated May 15th, 2012, in the amount of $21,835.53. Is there a motion to approve?
So made.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Abstain.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of May 1st, 2012 Village Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item C, approval and passage of resolution 2012-092, resolution granting approval to operate an outdoor special event for Windy City Amusements located at 122 Hawthorne Center, better known as Westfield Hawthorne, right?
That is correct.
Motion to approve.
Second?
There's a motion to approve in a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, last item under unfinished business, approval and passage of resolution 2012-100, resolution approving the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, NPDES, MSA, annual facility inspection report. What does this one pertain to exactly?
This pertains to annual report required by the IEPA. Essentially, we've committed to do certain things, good housekeeping practices, how we store our salt, how we clean the storm sewer system, sediment and erosion control. There's a number of different categories, a very large report that's within the board packet. Specifically, this is our 10th year of reporting. It's an annual report. We're keeping up with everything the IEPA is hoping for, and actually I think we're one of the leaders in the county in terms of meeting those requirements. So staff recommends approval of Resolution 2012-100.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Motion carries. And anything else on this? Is anybody taking Swellco, the pickup? The electronics pickup? When is that?
Saturday.
That's it.
The electronics collection for our village, we postponed. We're working with some of the other communities around here and working with them for collection of electronics. We are looking to have a Monday through Friday pickup at our Public Works facility. There is a special meeting for the Swellco board. The people who did the electronics recycling are not renewing their contract, and so they will be contracting with the previous vendor to provide that service. So it's just not good timing for us
So
to
it's
bring.
not happening this Saturday?
This Saturday's household waste.
Household chemical.
Oh, that is
And then
it.
add to that,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
we do have household
Yeah.
chemical waste recycling at the metro station, and that is Saturday.
Yeah, so that's a go. And that's from 8 till,
I think that's 8 to 2:30, I believe is the time.
okay. All right. We have to recess to go to executive closed session to discuss litigation and
Personnel.
property-
Personnel.
Personnel?
Yeah,
Okay.
litigation and personnel.
All right. We'll come back out. We will go to the committee of the whole.
Well, and we're suggesting you take action after the executive session.
Yeah.
On the item.
All right, so is there a motion to
Recess.
recess the board meeting to go into closed session?
Motion to recess.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Yeah. Yeah, all right.
Make sure we have a recording device.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Unfortunately, this is a situation that, I guess had a rather long history in the village of a home that was, needless to say, filled with animals on two different occasions. I think the first occasion was back in 2004 that we had to intervene because of complaints from the neighbors, and our inspectors came in with the permission of the owner and then also the Lake County Health Department. At that time, there were, I believe, well over 120 cats that were in this same individual's house. This second episode, which again we had to intervene on, and in this instance asked the Lake County Circuit Court to grant us permission to go into the house, and then there was a date certain set where the house was to be cleaned, but it was it was damaged beyond repair, and so we went through a whole condemnation process, and we just got, what's the date of the judge's order on this, or decree? Last week?
Last Thursday.
Which would have been last Thursday being the 10th of May. So this resolution here allows us, with the under the jurisdiction of the Lake County Court, to begin demolition on this on or about June 1st, 2012. It's a sad state of affairs, but the house was again not livable. So, okay, is there a motion?
We are,
Any other new business or communication to come before the board?
did we ever roll call vote on that?
What do you want?
Did we vote on it?
We don't have to vote on
What's that?
Did we have to vote on
Yeah, we're
that?
gonna, yeah. Did we, yeah, there's a motion and a second. All right, roll call. I'm jumping ahead of myself here.
That's okay.
We did.
Yeah, we did vote at it.
I don't know, I asked it, I thought they said no. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I went into the soliloquy. Okay. Trustee Schwartz?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so is there a motion to adjourn the village board meeting and convene the committee of the whole?
So made.
it. Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Better open here. All right. Come on. Open sesame. getting there. Okay. Okay, the first item of business is approval of the committee, the whole minutes for May 1st, 2012.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Motion carries. Second item of business is request for an outdoor merchandise display and sales permit for Lowe's,
Wait a minute,
16.
Whoa.
Wrong one.
No,
Where am I?
It's the wrong one.
wrong meeting.
Give me a get out of here. You know, I'm gonna be asking for a paper one pretty quick.
Rezoning presentation.
Rezoning presentation to Vernon Hills Board, Committee of the Whole, First Student Property, 1230 South Butterfield Road, Vernon Hills.
Mr. Mayor, members of the committee, tonight you have representatives from First Student and Random Transit, Inc., who is the contract purchaser of the property, who are here tonight to talk about the former First Student I shouldn't say former student, the First Student property, which is located on Butterfield Road. As you will recall, this was the location for many years of a bus parking lot. They operated out of that location throughout the years, providing bus service throughout this area. As a way of a little bit of background, the property was annexed in 1994 as a part of the annexation of the Prairie Materials property. Unlike Prairie Materials, there was no annexation agreement that was provided. Typically, annexation agreements provide for use, any types of conditions or restrictions, and then usually apply a zoning provision or a zoning classification to the property. Because of that, an R1 single-family residential zoning classification was applied to this. Again, as you know, since the 60s, there's always been a school bus operation at this location. In about 3 years ago, that school bus operation ceased, and it has been, for all intents and purposes, vacant. The property has been put up for sale by First Student, and they've requested to appear before you tonight to discuss a possible use for this location. We've met with the petitioners, Bob Kenny and myself have, and I think it's fair to say that this property is an isolated orphan along Butterfield Road. It's very difficult because it's isolated between two uses, the railroad and a large wetland to the west, Butterfield Road to the east. So whatever use or reuse of this property is going to be limited to the footprint that's already existing out there today. If you feel that this is an appropriate type of use or the direction is appropriate, there's several things that will have to take place with regards to the property. First, it'll have to be rezoned. The likelihood is that the property would be rezoned to a BP district. We'd also need to amend the zoning ordinance that would allow for this type of use, a cartage type use at the location. And we would suggest as a part of that it would be included as a part of as a special use within the district, so that additional conditions can be applied to the use and hours of operation and the like. So I guess with that, I'll turn it over to David Schenk, who's the attorney representing First Student and the random folks, and they can walk you through their operation. The owner of the business is here tonight also, and he can tell you a little bit about the business and how things operate. So, David.
Okay.
Is this, seems like it's working. My name is David Schenk. I'm a lawyer with the firm of Barnes and Thornburg in Chicago. Would this be better? Thank you. I'm with the firm Barnes and Thornburg in Chicago, and I'm also outside real estate counsel for First Group America, and have been representing the organization for about 10 years. We're here tonight to ask for your support for a rezoning, as John said, of the First Student Butterfield property to allow for the use as a light industrial facility, including trucking, cartage, as John mentioned. And we'd like to explain to you our reasons for why we think it would be reasonable for you folks to support the rezoning, and to introduce the contract buyers for the property who Random Trucking, who run an over-the-road trucking operation that's now located in Mundelein, a short distance from this site, which has made it an enviable site for these folks. So to introduce these folks so they can tell you what I referred to in your packet as the random story, and then to answer any questions or concerns that you may have about rezoning this property, which, as John mentioned, has been used as a bus facility. When I checked the records, going back to 1963 was as far as I could go, to an outfit called Ritzenthaler. And since then, it's been used by different companies, and at this point, it is owned by First Student. I think John has really laid the groundwork for it. I can only say that in my experience with my client, First Student, the only time a property really goes up for sale is when the revenue contracts, their contracts with municipalities such as yours, won't support the site. So that really the land use for these folks follows their business. And unfortunately, several years ago, as John mentioned, the business did not support this site, and my folks have been trying put it on the market. Actually, longer than that, I'm told, up to 5 years ago. Put it on the market, and it has been on the market now for 3 years. And I think in explaining, why we're here tonight and why we are eliciting your cooperation, is that the market just has not supported R1, which is currently zoned, or frankly B1, general business purpose. And what I'd like to do without, really further speechifying is introduce the broker for the property. The property is being brokered by C.B. Richard Ellis. Ryan Bain is here with us tonight, and I thought it would be helpful for him to give you the market history since he's been involved for this 3-year period, talk about the market strategy that our folks have used to try to sell this, and with the understanding that if there was another use, residential or business, that this site could accommodate, First Student would have been very happy to do that, because frankly, we could have sold it for more money.
Now, you represent who? First?
The seller.
The seller, okay.
And the current owner of the property.
Right. Well, why don't we cut to the chase here, okay?
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not sure the
I mean, we
market
got this
history would.
packet material, everybody's had a chance to look at it, so.
And the market history, we went through the annexation of it when we developed Greg's Landing and that, so, I mean, basically everybody up here's really familiar with the back. In fact, I knew Bruce Ritzenthaler personally. But,
Okay.
so, I mean, I think we're
Well,
aware of the background of the property because of having, when we went through the annexation and everything, so.
okay, well then, why don't we just move to introduce our prospective buyers?
That'd be a good idea.
And here we are, Mark
Now,
and
how does he
Raza.
pronounce his last name?
Hi, my name is Yulia Kisluk. I represent Random. This is Mark. This
What's
is
his last
Rasa.
name?
Bubinas.
Bubina. Okay, Mark, and that,
Mark and Rasa, that's his wife.
okay.
And I just want to take few seconds of your time. I've known Mark for about 10 years when he just began working as a driver. He was leasing a truck, and today we're here hoping to move into this neighborhood and bring definitely more business and improve the area. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give the microphone to Mark.
How's he going to improve the area?
Right now, the property as is has about 30 buses, and he has every intention to plant trees outside on the Butterfield Road so that there is a fence. It's a see-through fence. And his wife, Rasa, is actually, we have a few pictures of how they want to improve it. So they're going to plant some trees, going to put a lot more green, because in one area, there is a way to see residential area. So we would like to block that area where the fence is see-through, plant some trees, plant more things that would beautify the area. And also, I'm not going to take away any more of your time and some information that Mark is intending to give you, but he's already utilizing that street, the Butterfield Road, on his way to Mundelein area. So he's in that area anyways. But
Okay.
he wants to
Yeah.
improve the
Right.
area. And also the building that's on that area, he wants to improve that as well by remodeling it and painting it. So it's going to be a pretty sight. Thank you.
1,000 square foot building.
Good evening. We start on 2001, and on 2005 we rent a space in Mundelein. Is by the block away from that facility in Vernon Hills is 1230 Butterfield Road. That is property is already have everything what is the need of a trucking company. Is all property around have electric outlets for the engine heaters, so that does not make a lot of noise to the warm-up trucks, truck engines. Also, that property has underground huge fuel tank and gas station. I'm planning to remove that, so we're not planning keep anything underground. What is not is
Yeah, why don't you hold on for a second? Staff, what discussions have you had with these good folks already?
The discussions were we walked through process. We talked about appropriateness of use. We listened, we went back and forth on the issue, we have the marketing information that you were provided, and we generally talked about the possible reuse of this property and the need to appear before you all to get a sense of direction, both from the committee as a
Right.
whole and then moving forward.
And then this is a special use within which zoning category?
Well, again, it would be suggested that a rezoning be done into the BP district, which is consistent with the cement plant. And then a code amendment would need to be done to allow the use as a special use within the BP district. And the suggestion would be is to really narrow it down so that what they're talking about doing in terms of a use would be allowed as a special use.
But the non-conforming use of both the ready-mix plant and the bus yard has expired via our annexation agreement.
Well, it actually, for the school property, it expired when the use, or after, I think it was 18 months, the use closed, okay? So they've been operating as a non-conforming use since 1994.
Right.
The plant, the cement plant, has both BP and B1 zoning on it. The plant itself is in the BP, and then there were special provisions that were allowed in the annexation agreement that allowed it to operate, allowed it to expand and remodel going forward into the future. So technically, it is in compliance with the terms of the annexation agreement.
Okay, so again, I mean, in our local ordinance, though, with commercial vehicles, most often we call for them to be parked inside a building. Is that correct?
Or a screened-in area, yes. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I got lights, camera, action here. Trustee Hebda.
You had talked about I support what you're looking at. I would just like to see a formal landscape plan for what you're going to do to make improvements to Butterfield Road just because of the neighbors across the street. So I don't know if you've done that, but would like to see some kind of review of a formal landscape plan so we could make sure that that's going to look good. I know you've got some pictures, but John, that's what I'd like definitely to see is
Well,
some-
yeah, but the reality is here tonight, you gotta go through,
Right, you've got.
you know, if we don't, we wanna hear from the board members, which we are right now with trustee Hebda, whether or not they want this use there.
Right.
So,
Yep.
you know, and then you get to go through the whole technical review.
Which we, which.
And then
which-
Bob Kenny will make the disclaimer statement, you know? So, yeah,
Right, right. But I certainly support what you're wanting to do to improve the site. I don't have a problem
Right.
with your business coming to that site at this point.
why don't we just go down the line here? Trustee Cook,
I agree with you. Those are trucks that are already using that roadway, so it's not adding anything because it's already coming through that area. You're just moving within the general location, so that it's not like we're adding anything to that roadway, which is a good thing. The two things I would like to make sure that we look at is, I know we have idling laws on the book right now because of the business park and everything like that, and you need to be aware of those and how that would fit in with what we've got there, because we already have places where trucks park outside at night. We've had it with Lowe's and Mariano's over there where they back up to some people. So there are already rules in place about how much a truck can idle and that kind of thing. So
is there any kind of refrigeration units?
No.
okay. So you'll just want to make yourself familiar with that. And then as it's going through technical review and that, if there's anything that can be done, because the back area of that is a little bit of a drainage problem back there that I think we've seen over a number of years, that maybe this is the time to look at any potential fixes to that. It's just something to take a look at. But otherwise, I don't see a problem with it.
Trustee Schultz.
Now, I'm all in favor of your plan here. My only things is, and you were knocking them off your list, get rid of the underground tank. You do that, that's a great thing. We don't need that because there are some environmentally sensitive areas behind your property. So if you're going to get rid of the underground tank, that's good. You talked about there is electric throughout the property there to allow for engine heaters. So that should mitigate your running the trucks to keep them warm. So that shouldn't be a problem for you. I think there's a fine use, and as Trustee Hebda indicated, you really do a nice job screening, you know, with some evergreens and things that are going to mitigate any noise or any dust coming out of the property. You
Well,
do that as part of the landscape plan.
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of your use with those caveats and any additional caveats that staff will impose as part of their technical review. But I don't believe it'll be burdensome, so hopefully everything works out for you, and welcome to town.
What's the frontage on this property?
I don't know. I haven't seen a survey.
Is it a couple hundred feet or more?
Yeah. I would say.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing I just want to point out too, what Trustee Schultz said about taking out the tank, do you have intentions of putting in a new tank?
No.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be adverse to that.
Tank's not that old.
What's that?
Tank's not that old.
Oh, it's not? I've been advised the tank's not that old, so you don't want to keep your own fuel on the site?
No. No.
Okay,
Just don't want to keep anything underground.
okay. So that's where you fuel up at where you just go to a? Yeah, okay. Just trying to, all right. Trustee Markport.
What is the name of the company?
Random trans.
And how many trucks do you own, or how many trucks will be on the premises when they're stored?
Right now we have 18 trucks.
18 trucks. And the line of business varies. Is it from hauling materials, or from what type of materials of hauling?
It's dry goods.
Pardon me?
Dry
Dry goods. And dry goods, you mean?
It's dry food products and like.
Paper, plastic, nothing like chemicals, nothing like a hazmat, no.
Okay. That's all I wanted to find out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you have your filings and you would be able to show those to us. Right, you know, yeah, that's technical review stuff. All right, Trustee Williams?
I just wanted to make a statement, and the statement being I can't participate in the conversation tonight because I work for First Student. I am a manager at First Student and the former manager of that facility. So I can't help you at all.
Okay.
But would you?
And how many, these trucks are, the trailers are what, 50 footers or,
53 foot.
what is it?
53.
53, okay. So how many do we know approximately, or we'll have to figure this out, how many you can put on that lot?
Oh, he would put,
Yeah, I mean, there were 68 parking spaces for buses that we counted via an aerial.
Yeah, but these are bigger than buses.
Right, so, I mean, we'll have to have a site plan that they'll show
Sure.
a parking plan, so.
But not that much bigger and easier to turn around.
And you know we have to alert everybody within 250 feet of this proposed rezoning.
One time?
We have to alert all the homeowners and property owners if this goes forward to the rezoning hearing. So all the houses across the street, you know, you'll have to put them on notice, or we'll put them on notice, or both.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, to allow to come to the hearing and probably tell you things that might, you know, get your blood pressure up.
Yeah, I understand that, but we're working over the road. We're not working locally like in the city. So the over the road the truck is supposed to be on the road. He is leaving and is running 48 states.
I would think it would behoove you to make sure you're not doing a lot of work after hours or in the middle of the night, and, you know, there's beeping and banging and somebody yelling out into the yard, you know, over a microphone.
No.
Okay.
No, the trucks semi-trucks is not have that backup beeping alarm.
Okay.
They don't have those.
Okay.
And working is planning is a normal business hours.
All right, Trustee Schwartz, you want to add anything?
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay, Bob, you got the floor. I think you could gather nobody up here is vehemently against it.
So my role as village attorney is to just put you on notice that this is an informal reaction from the village board. It doesn't have the benefit of the technical review. It doesn't have the benefit of neighbor input, those 200-foot notices. So although you got a consensus that the board likes the concept, that consensus is not binding on the village board in any way. Once it comes through the process, if it comes back to the village board, and at that time, because of the review process, they still can deny this. So this isn't an approval, but it gives you an idea that maybe you might decide to keep going because it was on the favorable side, not on the negative side. But just pointing out that it's not a guarantee that it will be successful in the end.
So in essence, this will be a long, arduous process. No, we'll try to, you know, we've been known to like business. Vernon Hills likes business, so.
Can I just tell you one last word? As the local business, we support schools and like some teams. Like right now, we supporting the Lake Zurich High School, like a PAM team. And for the future, we're looking forward, like, you know, maybe some Vernon Hills teams have to be supported also. Just keep in mind.
I have my light on.
Oh, Trustee Hebda.
With regards to that comment, we are trying to put turf in our high school football team, and they're short about $90,000. So anything that you guys can do to help support that, we'd love you for it.
That's not quid pro quo.
Correct, counsel?
Right, yeah, that's,
Absolutely not.
don't say too much. You're better off. All right.
oh, he does say.
Well, okay, so, you know, your attorneys, I'm sure, will advise you now, and, you know, staff will help take you through the process, okay? So, all right, well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
It does state that he has
Now what?
18 trucks. on it.
No, I know that. That's great. Well, no, I mean,
I'm gonna show you an easier way to work that thing.
what did I do now? Damn, better off using my finger.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Jesus.
Stylus doesn't work.
All right, Olive Garden. And there we go. All right, fine. Already? Man, I don't, all right, this is the Olive Garden restaurant. Are the representatives here?
They are, and Mr. Mayor, I can give you a quick, as the petitioner walks up, I can give you a quick summary. If you look at the color drawings in your packet, you'll note that Olive Garden is proposing to construct a tower or a roof covering over the main entrance off the west side of the facility. They'd use stone veneer that would be placed at the base of the tower, and then there would be matching synthetic stucco on the upper portions of the tower. The entire building would be painted with various shades of yellow and brown, and those color samples are also included in your packet. The proposed height of the building, as shown right now, is at 21 feet 6 inches. That easily complies with the requirements of our zoning code, which is a maximum of 35 feet. But just for your information, they're still in discussion with River Tree Shopping Center regarding any deeds or restrictions that apply to the property to make sure they stay within those limitations. The height of this building may in fact get a little bit lower than what's before you tonight.
Is that an outside facility, or do they have?
Again, the drawings are before you for your review, and the petitioner is also here to answer any questions you have regarding the design. And if the committee tonight feels that the facade renovation and repainting of the building is appropriate, then staff should be directed to prepare an ordinance approving the renovation, subject to the conditions outlined in your packet.
Well, they got
And again, the
overhang,
petitioner is here to answer
and
your
that's
questions.
Trustee Cook.
Actually, I think this will make your building look better and more modern and updated, and all appears to be very, very positive. So I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Third.
Motion is second to approve.
Approve.
Okay.
This
Trustee
end-
Schultz?
No,
I
good to go. Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
I just have a comment. I have to agree with everybody that I like the design. My only question is that, do you have an area that's for seating outdoors?
Yeah.
For seating outdoors?
Correct. And the only reason why that I'm bringing it up is because everybody has it in town and.
We usually have a very limited, we usually have 2 benches that are located right outside the front entry doors. Other than that, that's usually limited to just those 2 benches. They're about 4 feet
You don't
in
want
length.
to do outdoor dining.
Dining is what.
Oh,
I'm
you're
looking
talking
at.
about outdoor dining?
Yes.
Right.
No, we've gotten away from that, especially during inclement weather. It just didn't prove very cost-effective or popular at certain times of the year. So we've kind of gotten away from that.
Okay. Just a suggestion, only reason why is several restaurants do. I was questioning.
It's not part of our plans at the current time.
I don't know where you'd put it.
I know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
On the roof.
Yeah,
Okay, is there?
Yeah, right. Do you give donations to schools?
Deal.
I gotta give
I
you
can
credit,
certainly-
Cindy.
I can certainly bring that subject up.
Okay.
We have a motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor, right? To
Yes.
approve. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And I
Okay.
think it's gonna look great.
Okay, next item is video gaming statute and regulations. Who do we have here? Is there anybody here tonight that wants to speak to that? Okay.
Well, Mayor,
Well, let's get our discussion going on.
right. I thought maybe Bob did a memo for all of you
Right.
and kind of an intro And then there's several businesses in town that have expressed an interest in pursuing video gaming at their establishments.
Right.
So maybe we could go through some of those elements. And,
Right. Okay.
So Bob, I don't know if you want to touch on kind of an overview.
Yeah, the purpose of this overview is more just a general, larger picture of video gaming, what it entails, and the basic framework that comes from both the Act itself and the regulations that were finally promulgated to support the Act. Video gaming, it's an electronic machine. You insert cash, but you do not get cash out. You get a ticket out, and you redeem that at the facility where it's located. So it's not a machine where you're going to get cash or you're going to get tokens out. You're going to probably get a paper ticket that you redeem. The whole concept of video gaming is that it is only in liquor licensed premises in the village where you are consuming on the premise. If you have a packaged liquor store, you're not going to have video gaming in a packaged liquor store. It's only restaurant type of facilities. In the facilities that choose to have that, should the village allow it, they have to create an area where only people over 21 can be. So generally, it's thought of that that's going to be a room. It has to be visible to at least one employee of the facility that's over 21, but it can't be visible from the outside. So each facility, they either have an area that might be appropriate, or they're going to have to construct an area to handle this, because it can't, if it's a restaurant, it can't just be pull out 2 4-tops and make that the area. It's got to be an area that's specifically, it would exclude anybody under 21. A maximum of 5 machines per facility. The cost to play could be a nickel, a dime, a quarter. It cannot exceed $2. So the maximum that you can put into play is $2, and the maximum you can win on a game for each bit of money you put in is $500. The state has regulations for the machines themselves. They have to be regulated in such a way that during the expected lifetime of the machine, of all the amounts played, they have to be paying out at least 80%. So that's how they have to be. What word am I using? I'm looking for a word here, but
Calibrated?
calibrated. That's the word. Thank you, Lisa. Calibrated. If you are a restaurant facility and you choose to have these machines in the facility, the after-tax profits shall be 50% to the terminal operator and 50% to the licensed establishment. So the company that provides the machine makes half the profits, the facility that has the machine makes half the profits, and that's after the machines have paid out over their lifetime an average of 80%. Where can these video games be located? A licensed establishment where alcohol liquor is drawn, poured, mixed, or otherwise served for consumption on the premises. In Vernon Hills, we're talking about the restaurants, basically. A licensed truck stop. We don't really have a truck stop in town that would qualify, I don't think. That truck stop's got to have at least 3 acres, has to have a convenience store, separate diesel islands, and parking spaces for commercial vehicles. I'm not sure if Ernie's meets that acreage or not. Possibly it does, but Ernie's would be the only.
Would not be.
Well, I don't know if they're 3 acres. Right. So if If there's a facility that qualifies as a truck stop, it would only be Ernie's from my perspective. And then other fraternal establishments, veterans establishments, those are the places. So I think in Vernon Hills, I think we're talking about our restaurants. A licensed establishment cannot be within 1,000 feet of a school or a church. Now, so we have an exhibit that will prepare to give us an idea of where these might be. And there's a couple locations, should they want to do it, that we're going to have to do a lot closer, or the facility will have to do a lot closer measurement to make sure that they meet that 1,000 feet. In order to go into business, the restaurant would need the valid terminal operator's license, an agreement between the terminal operator and placement of the machines in the facility, valid liquor license, and the facility must abide by all local regulations. From my perspective, that's good for the village. If we have a restaurant that has the machines in there and they're not following maybe health codes, they're at risk of losing the machines. It's one more element of making sure that the restaurants are abiding by all the codes. No one under 21 is allowed to use the machines. There's fee schedules put in the state statute of what each of the manufacturers and terminal users need to pay. There's a provision in here that says that non-home rule governments cannot charge a fee for the operation of a terminal in excess of $25 a year.
And we're home rule.
And we're home rule, and so that suggests that the village could impose a fee of more than $25 per terminal.
So that gives us the right to make this much more profitable for the village.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Locational requirements for the terminals once they're inside the restaurant building. Got to be within view of at least one employee over 21, restrict access to from people who are visibly intoxicated. So they've tried to create these rules to make sure that the whole scheme will work and it won't have operational problems inside the restaurants. Let's see. I think that's the biggest piece of it. We have 2 or 3 village codes that will have to do some modification to, should the board want to entertain video gaming in town. Right now, we've got a couple that would prohibit it, and I'm fairly certain Vernon Hills is on the list of prohibited communities by the gaming board, just when they went through and reviewed codes and saw what our codes were. So we'll have to do some modification of codes should you want to go forward.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, in reality, the action that we are, obviously we're not taking any action tonight. We would have to first address our ordinance.
Yes.
Which would take what process on that?
I'm fairly certain these are all municipal code ordinances, not a zoning ordinance. So we'll just go through the process, but we don't need to go through a public hearing at the zoning board. We could do that here at the village board level. So that could track with anybody who wanted, if the board was so inclined to go forward with the concept, that could track pretty easily and would not be a reason to delay anybody.
Trustee Schwartz.
Question, where it said 50, the revenues would be split 50-50 with the terminal operator and the licensed establishment. I thought it was 35 and 35, with 5 to the village and 25 to the state.
I will look at the
Yeah, it's not a
regs again.
50-50 split.
Well, no, that's post-tax.
Yeah,
Oh, that-
okay.
what-
So if you're talking 35, 35, and the rest goes to the state, that's the same as 50/50.
The
after fees.
50/50 is not the piece that comes to the village.
Right.
The 50/50 is between the company that provided the machine to the restaurant, and the other 50 goes to the restaurant.
Yeah, that's
The-
after all tax.
The percentage that the municipality gets, Mike, you can run through it, but the way it's worked out is each municipality's total revenues are a percentage of what the state collects from all villages. So if our Vernon Hills collects 2% of all the revenues from video gaming, then then our share is that 2%. So our share is determined by how many machines are in town and how much that is invested. Mike has some estimates.
So
from
the tax rate is 30%, and 25% of that goes to the state of Illinois, and 5% goes to the municipality. And so their
So
estimate.
the 50/50 split is.
Of the other
that
70%. Right.
Okay, gotcha.
And
There's your 35 and 35.
Yeah.
Right.
The estimate on the number annually for the revenue is like $2,250 would be the municipal piece
Per
of
machine.
the revenue.
Per machine.
Per machine.
Yeah, who did that projection? I mean, that's kind of probably going to
The Illinois Municipal League and Auden, Laffer, and Moore econometrics, sorry.
And I
be.
think those,
Is that in the machine? Is it in this video machine?
I don't know if that, I've sent so much stuff out to you guys. I don't think that's in your packet tonight, but I've sent this stuff out to you.
and Mike, I don't know if that's back from maybe an estimate from 2009 or if that's more
No, this
current.
one's actually more up to date.
Okay.
This one, actually.
But that's what I've heard, though, since this discussion started, about $2,200. But, okay, Trustee Cook.
I'm glad we finally got a copy of the promulgated rules, because that was always the thing that was holding back on any discussion of this. And these appear to be extremely tight. I mean, the fact that it's nickel, dime, and quarter games, and that maximum of $2 per hand. This is not like walking into a casino and sitting down at a $25 or $50 table. Even a $5 table. This is significantly less than that.
Right.
Which does put it more into the realm of game, as opposed to, you're not going to draw somebody who's got an addiction to gambling, because there's no payoff for that. So I'm glad we finally got these rules. So I'm starting to lean toward the fact that I don't see this as a problem. Also because of the good restrictions on the visibility, who can get in there. It seems like everything's been covered by these rules, because these were what we were missing in the earlier discussions.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, they've gone so far now as to allow, obviously, the restaurant or business to actually apply for these, which, prompted, I think, this whole discussion with, any one of us getting contacted by, some business people in town, and I've gotten calls, going back to last year about, hey, potentially are we going to approve this or not approve this? And I said, I don't know. It's not till it's all promulgated by the state. But the state, they threw down about $70 million to, I think, really put in the tracking system in place. And I would think they patterned it after some of the other states as to what they use, because the operator isn't involved in making payoffs or anything. It's, you go to the machine, you play it, you win, you go to the payout machine, Now, I don't quite know if the machine's out of money, what happens, but I'm sure the voucher's gotta be good somewhere else, to turn it in. So it would probably be similar to, I would think, an off-track betting. I mean, hell, if you leave and you can make a bet and you win, I'm sure you can go to some, another off-track betting facility and get your payoff.
No, I think,
you don't go-
my
you don't get
understanding
money.
is
You don't get
I will, when I win, I'm going to get a ticket. And I'm going to go to where, my waitress, my bartender, the payout. Now,
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what it says.
It's all on site.
I understand it. Well,
You
okay.
don't go to a machine to get it, you go to a person to get it.
Because the maximum payout's $500 and they're only paying 80%, so it's not like the machine is ever, the machine is gonna keep 20% all the
Does
time.
anybody here want to speak to that one? No, I mean, that understands
Yeah.
how the payout's going to be.
what fun is that, getting the real answer?
Well, I've had some conversations with some people. Go ahead.
Thank you. My name's Lynn Morris. I'm the CEO of Morris Gaming. I'm also the owner of Morris Gaming. We're a licensed terminal operator. We're one of 60 that have been licensed in the state of Illinois. In regards to your question, how do the payouts occur? The Video Gaming Act actually states that no machine can pay out a winning, so it has to be done by an employee of the licensed establishment. So what we're looking at doing is having a cash payout system behind the bar that will scan a ticket, and then the money will come out of that vending or cash payout vault, and then the employee will give that to the patron.
Okay, so it comes out of what, the actual machine I was playing, or separate?
It comes out of a separate vault, which is behind the bar.
You can't go to the
Yeah,
machine.
that's okay. Okay, I understand. Well, okay, this is a clarification, but there's two separate, here's the money that I just bet, and here's the payoff money in a separate vault. As you said.
Exactly.
Okay.
But both on premise.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I know. I think in some other states they do it differently, but that's okay.
Yes, some don't have ticket in, some don't have cash in, and they have
Some just have
cash
the
out.
machine and you can cash out
Yeah.
at the machine, so. But that's not Illinois, so if this is the way this is set up, so be it. Yeah, so it's not like the owner has to keep, okay, I understand.
And one other point I would like to make just in regards to all of this, it's connected to a central communications system. So the Illinois Gaming Board and Scientific Games knows real time what is going in to that gaming machine, and therefore they're totally aware of the taxes as well that are due to them. Also, they're aware with the cash vault, how many...
You have to turn it on.
She had it on.
You can put it down if you want to talk into the
Battery
mic.
like that.
Okay, and also the central communications system is linked to the cash vault as well, which is behind the bar. So the whole system is completely controlled by the Illinois Gaming Board and by Scientific Games.
Now, and the access to the daily take and payout, is that readily available to the village and to the owner of the establishment?
Not on a daily basis. What we plan on doing and what is mandated by law is that we have to give the report every 2 weeks. So it's twice a month on the 15th
So
and the
who
30th.
does that go to?
So the operator will give that to the Illinois Gaming Board, and the exact rules and regulations in regards to who at the Illinois Gaming Board or Scientific Games gets that information still needs to be determined.
So you can't say tonight that we're going to get a report?
Oh yeah, if you wanted, we could send you the same report every
Well,
2
why
weeks.
wouldn't we want it?
Well, currently it's not mandated by law.
Well, okay.
But you could write that into your ordinance, and if you would like to, and we would be able to readily supply you with
So
that
this
information.
is a legitimate question?
Yeah, you could definitely do
Well,
this.
if
You could say to us, we could supply it to you daily if you would want, and we would have the ability to be able to do that.
Larry, how would you want that if we go through with this?
I would say for auditing purposes, there'd be times we'd want it daily, but for the most part, monthly would be sufficient.
You want to speak up, Larry? Barbara didn't hear you.
I would say for auditing purposes, there would be times when we'd want it daily, but most of the time, monthly would be sufficient.
Monthly?
Yeah.
And the regulations require a minimum reporting of monthly, so.
Actually, we're required to give that information every 2 weeks.
To the state, unless local ordinance dictates that they give it to us.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm glad I asked that question.
You know,
Trustee-
one other point on that. Remember too, that 2250, that is, as I understand it, an aggregation for the entire state. So that all depends. I mean, it's great that whatever the revenue is locally, but it's more to the point, what is the money that's dispersed by the state for that 5%?
Is that accurate?
That's how I understand it, but is that?
Yes, so 5% will go to the village.
When?
Was that your question?
Yeah, but it goes through the state, and when do they distribute that? We're used to getting checks every 90 days, or every month, really, right? Because they're always 90 days behind?
It's not 5% of what we
Depends on what revenue source we're
I'm
talking.
talking sales tax.
Yeah, sales tax every 90, is 90 days behind. We get it every.
So how many checks do you get a year? 4?
Oh, we get 12.
Yeah.
Every month we get one.
Right.
Except the months that they forget to pay us.
So currently, we haven't been informed by the Illinois Gaming Board how you will be paid your 5%. But once we're aware of how that would occur, we can inform you and let you know as well.
We don't want it to go into a black hole.
Yeah.
We're very
So-
concerned about the black
No,
hole.
and it's not,
okay?
and it's
To
just
be
not
blunt
you.
about it, because if we don't, if, there's no incentive then, if they could possibly, oh, Grace, we got a shortfall here, we're just gonna use it somewhere else.
Yes. So I agree with you, and other villages have that concern as well, and that's been voiced to us too.
Yeah, well,
So-
we'll voice it to, if we go through with this, to the state reps
Yes.
too.
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Well, I just wanted to point out that it does say in Bob's letter that the amount of funds to be distributed shall be in proportion to the tax revenue generated from video gambling within the eligible municipality. It's not a total of the state revenue.
Which
So-
page, Jen?
Just remember that. Page 3, the very last page, second paragraph. Pardon?
We get 5% of what's generated here.
But there's some ambiguities,
It
it
just says
sounds like,
proportion.
in the law and how the state
Yeah, I
interprets
thought
it.
there was it's a percentage of what the whole state does. Is what I read someplace else.
Yeah, did I read that wrong, Bob? Did I misunderstand that?
Well, I don't think the
think-
potential
The way I understood.
machine provider misunderstood it. It's ambiguous right now.
Well, the way I understand it is, if the village's, the amount of funds shall be in proportion to the tax revenue generated. So if the tax revenue generated from the machines in Vernon Hills are 5% of all the tax revenues generated by all the machines in the state, then that's, so we generate $5,000 and the state generates $100,000. So that's the ratio of what we're going to get back in terms of our share.
Wait, if our
If the 30% is $100,000 on their take, is that what you're saying? 30% of what their gross take is goes to the state.
But 1/6 of that 30% stays to local. That's 5%. So if it generates $30,000, the state collects $30,000, $6,000 will be coming to, I'm taking it back, 1,500 would be coming back here. No, 1/6 of it, yeah, I was right. So 1/6 of it would be the 5, yeah, right.
Do you mind if I make a comment?
No.
Okay,
The state
so
would keep
if
25,
if
and we get-
Vernon Hills makes $100,000, $25,000 will go to the state, $5,000 will go to Vernon Hills, $35,000 will go to the licensed establishment, and $35,000 will go to the operator.
Right.
All right, so.
Why do we want to do this for such a small cut?
Well, my question is, also, but that, the 5% is obviously mandated by the state. The actual amount on the machine, you can't base it on, oh, it's only gonna be $100,000. If you operated in any other state,
No, so we're based in
Any
Illinois.
other country?
No, we haven't. So I'm actually originally from Australia, so I've worked in venues which had video game terminals or pokies, but when I was there, I was too young and didn't have enough finances, but I've been in Illinois for 13 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we call them pokies, named after video poker. So I'm using my Australian lingo. But we've actually had...
You know anybody that works for Westfield?
Yeah. Actually, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
You know Chris Barnett?
No, I don't know that.
Who do you know? Know somebody higher?
No. I wish I knew one of the Lowrys. So, but unluckily, I know because
Tell
I
the
know.
mayor's going to be in Vegas next week for the International Council of Shopping Center. I want to see Lowry. That's who I want to see?
Yeah, that's who you want to see.
He's the
Peter Lowry.
top guy, yes.
Wow. Okay. They own steakhouses too, right? Prime rib establishment?
Actually, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right, fine. Okay, all right. So in essence, we're using $100,000, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think the average?
Well,
Well, you don't
we
have any
actually-
knowledge of that.
Yeah, so we did a revenue projection and we actually gave that to Mike Allison. And so we looked at 39 establishments in Vernon Hills that have liquor licenses, and we assumed that a lot of them would not do video gaming, so we assumed like maybe possibly 75%. So if you look at that over each one of those venues, putting in 5 video game terminals, I think that works out at about $239,000 per year. And over a 10-year period, that's equivalent to $3.3 million.
That goes
To
Oh,
who?
Yeah,
That would be to you. That would be to Vernon Hills.
So you're saying a machine annually could do how much? One machine?
One machine gross would be around $75,000.
So
Sorry,
you'd
it would
say-
be $45,000 per year.
Okay, 75 times 5 being 220.
is what the total revenue?
It's 220,
Yes.
225 for those 5 machines at the average establishment.
Yeah, so
75 per machine.
no, sorry.
1,000.
Sorry, if you look in the Arduin report, that's where we get our numbers from. So they quoted the median revenue from one video game terminal would be $40,000. So if you take 5% of $40,000, it equals $2,250. So that's what we worked our projections off from.
So you're saying if the average place would, obviously everybody want the 5 machines, you get 10,000 per location. And if there's, if
Well,
there's 20 locations, you get a couple of $100,000.
We did some projection. This afternoon we went through, because we kind of figured somebody would ask these questions, but we think that there's maybe potentially 27 liquor establishments that in the broadest, conception would want this. Other ones are too small or for whatever reason they didn't make sense. So again, it's consumption on premise. So if you did all 27 of these, 5 machines at the $22.75 per machine annually, you're talking something like $307,000. Now, there's no way we think that, the absorption, you're not going to get, first of all those businesses, the number of machines, whatever. Maybe something more realistic is 5 establishments with 5 licenses each, and then you'd be talking about 57,000, something like that. So we just played around with some numbers, but we actually looked at the liquor license holders because among a couple of us in the village hall, we know what each one of these establishments, look like. And like Bob said, you have to segregate an area and it has to be large enough.
Did you knock out the ones that are within 1,000 feet of a church or
Well,
a school?
that's a good question. There's a couple of those that are on the bubble, and we didn't have a chance today to get it done. But if you want to pursue this, will do a GIS map and do that 1,000
Oh, it's not
foot.
done? Bob said it was done.
Well,
In a very-
initially we did.
It's
rough.
at a very rough. We
Yeah.
do have the map, we do have the circles, but
But
we're
as
not
far-
ready to say that it's perfectly 1,000.
As we learned, one kind of establishment, it's measuring from the building, and another use, it measures from the property line. So you really, Bob said, let's be exact. He's going to give.
We're taking a
Well,
guess, the
yeah.
1,000 feet, if you go to the liquor code, And you have 1,000 feet for a church from the property line of the church to the building that's the restaurant. For a school, under the liquor code, it's the lot line of the school to the lot line of the liquor establishment. So the liquor establishments are farther away from schools than they are from churches. So,
Excuse me, Mr. Kenny, do you mind, there was just a new ruling in regards to the requirements, if you don't mind if I clarify?
absolutely,
Okay.
because I'm just relating interpretations from the liquor code, not the video gaming. So that
Oh, okay. So in the Video Gaming Act, it actually requires that a licensed establishment is at least 100 feet from a school or from a church.
Okay, so this is interesting because we had this discussion here today. The act that I have says 1,000 feet, and there's one of the handouts from the Video Gaming Board that says 100 feet.
Yes, so it's 1,000 feet from an inter-track wagering facility and 100 feet from a church and from a school. So what I can do is get you a copy of the law and show you exactly where that is found.
I would appreciate that because that'd be good.
Okay, well, I don't know, where are we going with this tonight? Obviously, do we want to have staff do some more research on this and get back to us? Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor, would you mind if McCarthy's made a couple of comments just in regards to what
Sure.
they're thinking with floor plans so you can actually see how some of these rules and regulations would be introduced?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good evening. How are you?
Okay. Let's state your name for the record, please.
Steve Crane. I am the chef owner, chief bottle washer, McCarthy's Restaurant. I'm here just to kind of maybe clarify a couple things. I know it sounds like we're a little premature with a few aspects of this, but we would just like to show you a few things that we've occurred over here in the last year and a half. We've actually, this is our second licensed terminal operator we're using. We fired our first one just due to the aspect of Morris Gaming. They're truly professional and they are very knowledgeable in every aspect of the gaming industry, as you can see by Lynn's comments so far. We would just like to say that we are very much for the gaming aspect of it, not just for the aspect of the gaming, but for our food and beverage sales, our increase in entertainment for our restaurant that goes along with our karaoke, our live music, and other entertainment of our sports bar, or pub, I should say. We've been in business almost 6 years now. We are in the Westfield Mall. Over the last several years, our business has struggled due to economy, recession, 18 stores closed in the mall. So we are really looking forward to this boost to help our business, in the future. Again, I think that the way the location of the it's set up there, our door is. I don't know if you can see that or not. Our door is in line with all our staff, bartenders, and cocktail servers. Our main entrance from the mall, you will come through. You would have to proceed around all the walls that'll be surrounded. It is handicap accessible. We have the 5 machines in there, and we'll have servers going in there serving drinks and food. And I think it's a good setup. I think we've come up with Pot of Gold as our name for our gaming lounge. And again, we've been pursuing this ever since they passed the law in 2009, and would obviously like to be able to do this.
Even though you say this is a small contribution to the whole of what comes through, it's big for us.
Sure.
But it's also big for you, and you mentioned about $90,000 for turf. I think this covers it. So the thing is that every little bit counts, and in a small business, you have to look at small things to grow. And on the whole side, we looked at McCarthy's as an opportunity to bring this to Vernon Hills. So we teamed up with a company that can professionally present this, not on our behalf, but answer questions to the board, because they're very versed in what we need to actually to address all your issues going forward.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
About all we could do tonight, though. We got.
Yeah,
we
there's a-
understand.
This is,
someone probably wants to frame this somewhere.
yeah, we'll give that back. Yeah.
Yeah, we just wanted to, shed some light on this. I know we're, obviously in the beginning stages of it, but we figure Morris Gaming being here, they could answer a lot of those questions for you this evening, so. And they actually have prepared some packets for you if you're interested in those packets. With the
Sure,
light,
you know.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it to Mike.
Yeah, give it to Mike Ellis.
And he'll get it out to us.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the next item is, coming up. Damn.
Canaflex, isn't it?
Canaflex, CATSA plans. Anybody here for that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The petitioners are here, and they'll be able to answer any of the questions you have. I can give you a quick summary. Kenaflex, their facility located at 875 Woodlands Parkway is what this pertains to, and they're proposing to do an addition off the east side of the facility. The addition would be approximately 98,000 square feet, and it would be used for manufacturing and warehouse uses related to making large piping. Approximately 70% of the facility would be devoted to warehouse and 30% to manufacturing. This facility, being located in Corporate Woods, is subject to those PUD requirements. One of those requirements is that 2 parking spaces be provided for every 3 employees. After completion of the addition, Kenaflex would anticipate having 30 employees when the facility is at full production, thus requiring a total number of 20 parking spaces. So right now it appears that they would comply with that requirement. I'll let the petitioner go into detail regarding the design of the facility. The walls are basically going to be tilt-up concrete panel construction. There'll be some brick accents at the bottom. They'll use lighter colors at the top, colors that try to complement the existing brick facility that the addition will extend off of. There'll be garage doors that are added, and the color of those doors would match that of the existing garage door. If the committee of the whole feels that the addition and the architectural design is appropriate, then Kenaflex should be directed to begin the technical review process. Because this is located in Corporate Woods, a public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission is not required. At the conclusion of the technical review process, we would then put this back in front of you for final review and consideration. And again, the petitioner is here to discuss the design details for you.
Still there. That's an addition right there.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Naoki Hirose, and I'm from Takenaka Corporation USA, and we're a design build company, and we represent Kenaflex Corporation, who's located in Vernon Hills, but their parent company is from Japan, and we do a lot of business with a Japanese company outside Japan as well. So this time we were selected to work on their addition to their existing facility in Vernon Hills. So this is what we would like to propose today. So the building currently that they own is about 57,000 square feet, and it's located in the Corporate Woods Business Park. And what we are planning to do is to create an expansion to the north side of the building so that they could have more space for their production as well as more for the storage space. What they currently produce is like a small piping for like a medical food industry. Also, they produce pipings for construction, site utilities, And what they're planning to produce in the future is like a really large size piping so that they could be used for the site, thank you, site construction inside like a really large development. And they need a storage space so that they could actually store it and then sell it to people around the country. So right now, they can't really manufacture these large piping products until they have the facility. So one of their idea was to expand here. Another idea is maybe they could expand somewhere else where they actually will be in need for these products. So at this moment, what they're planning to do is to expand in this village. So we were providing them with a consultation on what kind of a building they could manufacture. I mean, they could construct in a timely manner, and that's what we had brought to here. So as I was explaining, the orange space is the new building, and as you can see here, the existing facility is built of brick, so kind of showed it in orange. And from our past experience with these industrial facilities, I think it really works well with the precast concrete wall. And that's the extension over here to the west side of the building. And this shows the north side of the building, so it's really looking from this side. And the bottom elevation shown over here is the back side of the building, which is to the east side of the building, or east side of the site.
I just wanted to ask a question. I mean, is there any reason why we wouldn't approve this?
Well, or just at this point, staff believes it's appropriate to direct that we begin the technical review process.
Yeah.
We don't see any particular issues with the PUD requirements of corporate woods.
Well,
We'll need to get more detailed drawings, more detailed engineering drawings and such.
And the piping is, okay, the larger piping, what material is it made out of?
They build it out of PVC, but initially in the past, a lot of these pipings were made from not environmentally friendly material. And what happened was that when you burn these materials, it tends to exhaust really bad odors. But from, I think, 2009 or so, they started, around 2009 or so, they started producing materials that are more environmentally friendly. So that's what they're planning to use for these products.
Okay, Trustee Schultz.
Yeah, I was going exactly where you went, Mr. President. I mean, I don't see any problem here. They're looking for another curb cut out. I don't imagine that's a problem with corporate woods.
No, that's fine. They need to stay 40 feet away from that intersection.
Right.
And they're doing so.
Okay, and they're banking sufficient parking to, even if somebody wanted to turn this into a distribution center, I'm expecting that parking could be expanded along the that property line at the quote-unquote rear of the building and at the north end. So this looks like it could fit into a future use if they don't, a more intensive personal employee use. So I'm good with it. I think it's appropriate to send it to technical review.
Trustee Cook.
What am I missing on the parking here? Is this that you don't have, you're going to triple the size of the building, but you're going to have less employees, or, I mean, because you're losing about 150 to 160 parking spaces, and I don't see where they're coming.
They only need 30 spots.
Yeah, I mean,
for this type of operation.
why
but
did
they
this have so much parking to start with?
I think, sorry for cutting you through, but I think the initial or the original building owner was Morola, and they had more people working in the facility, but I think they had much more parking spaces than what was required per code.
Okay.
But this time around with our new client, they don't need as many parking lots. So in the future, if you need to expand it, we could have a land banking usage, but I don't think a lot of municipalities right now wants to see asphalt if you don't need one, so that's why we didn't show as much as they.
Do you still have the basketball hoop out in the parking lot?
I think the basketball hoop was like somewhere over here, so.
It's still there?
Right now, yes.
But it would be adequately, Mike, it would be adequately parked
Yeah, it would be. The driving force behind this addition is to warehouse very large piping materials. So there aren't going to be, there'll be no more than 30 employees that are there at any given time, but only 30% of the facility is devoted to manufacturing. 70% of the facility is just to warehouse large piping
But are you
material.
gonna make the pipes here or make them elsewhere?
The client's planning to manufacture the product here and then store it until they actually ship it out so that they could sell it to their outside clients.
So okay, so we gotta look at the manufacturing process and what it might create.
That's correct, sir. We look at, I mean, at the technical review process, we'd get some detailed engineering drawings for grading, see if detention is required, detailed architectural drawings as such. Preliminarily, we'll look at how they're going to design the inside as a manufacturing warehouse facility. Then if the board approves it as part of the permit process, we'll go into detail getting shop drawings on all the equipment, all the exhaust equipment. The Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire Protection District will be involved in that review process as well to make sure they meet all the requirements of the building and fire code.
And apparently, we probably should get some EPA data sheets, too.
That's correct.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So made.
If I may, it's a motion directing Kenaflex to the Kenaflex, to the technical review process.
That was my intent.
Okay. There's a motion, is there a
Second.
second? Motion is second. Any further comments or questions? Roll call.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart?
Aye.
Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams? Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ron.
Intergovernmental agreement for Project Turf.
Speak to that 1 minute. Bob and I put together an intergovernmental agreement, and Dave, Bob and I, and in there is, the elements of it include, of course, the $100,000 that you discussed 2 weeks ago, what the release date would be, namely that the funds would not be released until they accepted the improvement, and then define what that completion would be. And then there's a clause, Trustee Hebda mentioned it, and there's, we
I have
use
a
the language
question.
from,
I have a question.
we use the language from the previous agreement on assistance in financing the original Rust-Oleum field as far as use. Now, we've only used it one time during that entire time, and that was cooperatively, but, so those are the elements in that agreement.
Well, you know, I guess, look, after our meeting with the Park District last week, do we, I don't know, do we need to cajole anybody germane to their promised uses? I know they have a separate donation, I know but that came up in kind of
Right.
detail that the high school was kind of balking at the amount of use that was gonna go to the Park District.
Well, I mean, you have not expressed yet an interest in, really getting involved in what the uses would be. We can certainly sit down and talk to them. We haven't done that. We only did that in the most general way, like, would we have the opportunity to use it if we had a
I'm
special
not
thing?
saying so much us.
Well,
I'm saying, I guess to be somewhat of a catalyst in this instance, with the Park District and what, I think they were led to believe, and I don't know exactly what's unfolding here.
mhm.
As far as the uses for, some of their proposed, maybe events, obviously events,
Well, I think part of it was the expansion of the use beyond that Sunday, namely a Sunday type event, and then that one couldn't use it during the summer, is
Yeah,
what
there
I
was
was
some
told,
issues
because
with,
they
okay,
didn't
we're not gonna have staff
staffing
there.
for it.
Well,
So,
well,
I just want to make sure, under your item B on that's page 5 or whatever, we say all students participate in athletics. I don't want it just to be limited to athletics. If a gym class wants to go out there and use it from the high school, great, let them use it. But I've already heard for the 2012 2013 girls soccer season, the freshmen are not on that field once, and the field is open. The varsity get to play, and the JV get to play, and the freshmen are put out there. So that's where I'm a little perturbed, but I don't know, because they talk about scheduling, but there's
Right.
no track meet going on. I've had parents call me and say, Cindy, guess what? And if I'm a freshman, I make the team, but I don't make it as a senior, and I don't have a gym, I don't get a chance. And if we're gonna put that money out there, I wanna make sure that those kids get the use. I don't care about me using it. I want the kids to use it.
Trustee Williams.
And I agree, Cindy. I absolutely agree with you. I mean, I think the people here last week had all good intentions.
Yeah.
But come on, how long are they gonna be there, number one? Number two, we have nothing binding on that.
Right. I mean, I
Nothing
just
in
wanna
writing,
make
nothing at
sure.
all. And I was at that meeting with the Park
Right,
District the
right.
other night, and I was very upset by what I was told. You know, they said, well, we can lock up the stadium, we can take, you know, responsibility, we'll make sure it's yada, 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 we'll enter an agreement. The answer was no. We are not here on weekends, we're not here during the school year, and no,
I mean, in the summer.
in the summer. I mean, sorry, in the summer. So that really bothered me a lot. I thought, come on, you know, we're supposed to be intergovernmental, working together, there's three bodies, and it's not, it appears to me it's not gonna
Well,
happen.
maybe we gotta have a sit-down. I mean, we did discuss that
Yes.
to
'Cause like-
some extent.
Because
But
again, they said
again,
yes,
what-
and I got a perfect example now of next year's sports season,
And it's not there.
and it's not there.
If I may,
Yeah.
Now, they may tell me a reason why,
Yeah.
but you know what?
I'm going to give you a reason.
Well, no,
There
I
can
want them
always
to
be
give me
a
the
reason
reason,
why.
you know?
Right.
Come on, there's gotta be a way to get these kids out there. If we're gonna spend that money, let them use it, my gosh.
Right.
That's what it's there for.
Trustee Cook.
With all due respect, Trustee Hebda, I'm not sure that's a criteria we want to go for. And this comes from someone with a 10-year career as a freshman coach.
Yeah, but you're a
We played on the varsity court one time in 10 years, and that was wonderful. But I don't think it was ever to the detriment of our program that we didn't play there. That is part of the aspect of the pyramid of the way facilities are designed in that, and that's going to be true of many facilities for many different sports that your lower level programs will not always necessarily play on your absolute best
But it's
facilities.
not-
But I'm just saying, I think it's an undue burden on the school to say that we're going to require them to have freshmen play on a varsity facility or on this facility just because we want to make sure that every kid gets a chance to play on it, because you're not going to want the softball team to play on it because it doesn't fit the field. But, you know, what I'm saying is that as a freshman coach, I don't think it ever entered my mind that, gee, we really should get to play on the varsity court on a regular basis. I don't think I don't understand why that. Stay with the sport, and as a JV player, you'll get to play on that facility.
But I'm also saying it's just not about the sports. It's not just about sports. There are kids that take athletic classes in school. It's not just about whether I'm on a sports team.
Well, I think
Let
Pete
them
will probably
use,
use it.
you know, let them use it.
Pete will use
And I don't see that in here, so let them use
The
it.
original proposal, I remember when they were talking about putting the turf in, was that then that field can be used a lot more than it is now. And so if we have the turf, it can be used all the time. So if it's not being used, then it should be used by people that want to use it. And that's what I think Cindy's
It will be
trying to
used
say.
by PE. They said that when they were here last meeting. They said it would be used during the day by PE. It'll be used by the band. The band will get to practice on it. The number of uses for this facility is like 1,000% increase, roughly. I mean, you're going from 30 or 40 events a year, I believe it was, to something in the neighborhood of 300 or 400, along with the fact that they said the PE and stuff would use it. I'm just questioning whether or not we want to get as specific as saying you've got to have freshman teams play there and that kind of stuff, because it.
Can I go back? No, can I go back to my original, premise and concept was to help the park district, you know, in getting the utilization that they're looking for, which is during the summer months. Forget the school year, and the roadblock is, hey, you know, we're not here.
We're closed.
So, the kids in the park district programs, principally, there's a lot of activities during the summer, that are just related to park activities. But again, I mean, they can outline better than I can, what their uses would be, and they've had those discussions, obviously, because they must have did that months ago, because they committed to a donation for Project Turf a long time ago.
Right.
So, again, I mean, it's a question of, during the school year, it's moot. I mean, the high school is going to determine who's going to use it, but when it's laying fallow during the summer months, okay, if there's no coordination there, so be it. I mean, that's what I think needs to be discussed. I mean, going and telling the athletic director,
No, I
Christ, you
know
got to
that.
use this for this. No. But I think the park district has a legitimate gripe here, that we were exposed to last week.
But at the same time, when they were here last week, they did, I'm getting
school.
confused. When the school was here, they stated that when the turf was not being used by varsity or JV,
Whatever.
then anybody could use it. Their own athletic teams could use it.
Right, well, they'll decide that,
Exactly, they'll
Right,
decide that.
right,
But
right.
what Cindy is upset about, and I think I understand, is that it's not being used and they
And
want to
there's
use
already
it.
explain the schedule
No,
to me.
what she said is that the freshmen weren't going to get to use it, and one of the reasons for that is, as a general rule, when you play another school,
Right.
all the levels come.
Yes.
Right.
And so the reason the freshmen aren't playing on that field is because the varsity and JV are playing on that field
No,
at the
they're
same
not.
time.
They're not
in many
scheduled.
instances.
In that example given for the parents is they play later and the freshmen are just moved over to the, no one's on that field till the varsity comes on at 6 p.m.
Well,
So, I mean, I don't know,
Well,
maybe
it-
there's a track meet going on,
Right,
whatever,
right.
but I just want to make sure that the high school understands my position. We're giving $100,000. I want to make sure
Well, we
that
haven't yet.
kids
We haven't given
are
it
using
yet.
it.
No, okay.
I will comment. on-
Trustee Mark,
Will comment. I understand what you're going by, Cindy, but again, if it were football, freshmen play on a Saturday, they should be playing on the field. Junior varsity, sophomores play at a different time. Unfortunately, in the ranks of high school, freshmen get the low of the total. But I understand the playing, but I will go back, pushing that aside, everybody should be using it. The big factor is, as Mary just brought up, when they're saying they're not using it during the weekends, that sort of caught me, and then they stayed during the summer. That's another bit, and the summer's a big catch.
Yeah.
So if it's there, if it's being built, it should be used.
Yeah.
yeah, well, okay, but I'm not, I don't, I know I hear what Cindy's saying, but, I don't know how you're gonna dictate that to the school board, other than letting them know, okay, so on and so forth, you heard from people. But I think the bigger issue is, how's it gonna be utilized to deal with the park district? And it sounded like, the doors were being closed as to them being able to utilize the facility, but school isn't in.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
And I could understand it if it was not a responsible party, but
Right,
again, it's
right.
another governmental party in
Right.
town. It just
so,
doesn't
okay,
make
how
any
do we
sense.
want to address this?
I
I
don't
mean, do
know.
we want to, before we sign off on this agreement, should we have a sit down with the school
I
district?
think we should.
And the
I think
park
we should.
district? Okay,
Have
fine.
everybody in, and let's talk about this.
Okay.
If we have to do an off night, we
Well,
do an off night.
So does that mean the ink's not dry in the check?
Yep.
Wow, wait. We're talking.
I don't have a problem with the
completion.
checks.
We're talking about a long ways off before Larry has to sign a check.
Right.
Right, okay, so that
But
now
It's not
would be
only
the-
not dried, it hasn't been made out yet.
I think the next question though really is, what's our objective? We can meet with them about what though?
We
I
wanna
mean, I think we need,
talk
like
about
Mayor,
how
you
friendly
said,
we all get along.
specifics
Yeah.
about the park
Well, I
district,
think the park
and have
district could
somebody
put some-
police it.
Yeah.
Because frankly, what's in this agreement, they're just throwaway items. So if we
Right.
say, let's all feel good and use it, we have no power. First of all, we don't have knowledge. We're not going to know if freshmen, sophomores,
Right.
who uses it. Two, what's our enforcement ability? So the park district,
we make them
they
say
have an
that?
agreement. They nailed it down to,
Right.
well,
are they
we're
com-
going to get to use it for this
Yeah.
and this and this on Sundays, this period through this period.
And is it truly committed to? It didn't sound like it.
It sounded like that part of it was, yes, but they wanted more. They wanted dates outside of that narrow, like you said, Mayor, the narrow range was Sundays in the spring and Sundays in the fall, and that's it. Because you couldn't use it during the summer. Obviously, you can't use it during the winter.
And the
so-
school's not using it in the summer.
Right.
Right.
And
So
that
I
was
got
the rub.
I mean, maybe I wasn't at the same meeting
Yeah.
that you were at. and
No,
Barb
you
was
said
at.
it exactly.
I mean,
I'm saying what you said.
I'm just saying, Chris, we sat there for 2 hours and I
Right,
heard
but
it
I
more than
mean-
once.
No, I'm just saying, what's our objectives?
Right.
Is it to get them to have summer play there? And then we should meet, a suggestion for me, if that's what you want to do, we should bring the park district in,
Yeah.
sit down with the high school and say, here's another 100,000, but for that 100,000, we want to see you schedule events in the summer when the field's not in use. If that's where you want to go, well, that's
Let's at the
objective.
meeting.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, it sounds like to move that forward, it would have to be a meeting of all three.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
At one
absolutely,
time.
absolutely.
Well, that's kind of what I thought came out of last week's meeting, but I'm, I guess, bringing it to the rest of the board.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that's what you wanted to
Okay.
do. So I'll invite
Because I
the
haven't
park-
seen the agreement, Mike, between them and the high school.
I haven't either.
So, all right, we'll set up a
I
meeting.
just have
Okay.
one more comment and then I'll be quiet. I am so proud of our village. We really try to give back to the residents. And so we're giving this money to the high school. And I want the high school to understand, I'm very positive about that. Just like for our residents, Mike, you worked on this electrical thing. We're giving money back to the residents. And as a village, we're not taking in more utility tax. We're trying to help people out. So whatever we can do, let's try to do it and be efficient about it and make sure that all parties work
I
together.
would think that they'll be
I think so,
receptive within reason. I mean, it's a great working relationship
we-
with the
we-
high school, and we could
Proud of what
help
we've
the
done.
park district out too, so. Okay, all
Your
right,
Honor-
what else?
Your Honor, Your Honor,
President.
Your Honor, there is a pre-construction meeting on either next Tuesday or Thursday. They're trying to nail that down for Project Turf. I know we're talking about the $100,000. There's another component in terms of assisting with the hill. I was just curious as far as if the village board would allow us to give some direction that we could put the fill up on the hill and work through it. I can resolve that in the pre-construction meeting, if that's the board's desire.
With that. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's a go.
Well,
Well, how much will we raise, Dave, how much will the hill raise because of that?
2 feet.
It, 2 feet. So,
is that all?
2 feet,
not a problem, 2 feet.
Yeah, okay.
$30,000.
Mostly on the north side, it won't be recognizable. I
It
mean,
goes
won't-
from a
it
blue
won't
to
be
a
a big
black
impact.
run.
Blue to a black.
Thank you for that.
Is everybody okay?
I don't think I
with
have to
that?
worry about
I'll
that.
make a motion to direct staff to prepare the necessary ordinance or documents to allow for the transfer of the spoils
Do we
from the
have to, or
field
do we
to
just, I thought that was
Mount
like,
Janulis.
well, don't they need to start doing that though, and before our
And you
next
know,
board meeting?
for my need would just be general direction. I think we have consensus. I can go to the pre-con and say the board did.
We had a consensus on the 100,000 last week.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think there's a problem with that either, do you?
Yeah, well, you know, I know this came up last week, which I was not here, but, you know, the other thing that we've had discussions with, and it's kind of, you know, I think off the front burner, but they want to put it back on the front burner, it sounds, after we, you know, had some further discussions germane to the girls' softball fields on the American Hotel Register property, where they would like, you know, us to help facilitate a longer term lease agreement with Tom Leahy and his people, because they would like to actually improve those fields for, you know, a longer term use. So, you know, again, I would have brought that up at the meeting last week, as I think as far as helping them, it's, you know, it's a good thing to do, because it does benefit, you know, the kids in this town and even the adults in some situations. So we'll get this worked out, but we need to have a sit down with the parties of interest and go forward. So, okay, what's last? Me voting on stuff, right?
Mayor, this is an initiative that really came from a discussion Mike and I had, beginning with the Target proposal.
When was this with Target?
6
About
months
2
ago?
months ago?
Yeah.
What,
Something,
and what did they
Signage.
say?
There was,
Oh, the sign?
it was a signage issue.
We recommended a change that exceeded
Yeah.
what was approved by the zoning board.
Right.
And therefore, in a sense, it was a denial in the stretch.
Right,
Yeah.
and by going back and looking at what our code says and what state statute says, and also looking at the practice of the board, many times the mayor will, for the record, vote yea or nay on a matter. When you look at it, if we're talking about a rezoning of property, the mayor can vote if the planning and zoning committee says yes or no. But if there's an objector, a formal objection, then his vote doesn't count. And that doesn't make sense to me.
That's just one person, right? Or one party?
Yeah, if-
Objector. Well, I mean, it could be a simple,
Well, it just depends. If they meet the standards for a formal objection, then all of a sudden, the mayor who can vote can no longer vote.
so it dies for, yeah.
The mayor's vote doesn't, his vote can't count in a special use.
Okay.
His vote counts in a variation if the planning and zoning committee says yes, but it doesn't count if the planning and zoning committee says no. It doesn't happen that often that,
Well, plus if we don't have enough people,
right,
you know, where we, obviously that happens. I mean, where someone can't be here, or sometimes a couple of people can't be
you do
here.
have the rights to vote if there's a tie or if some people are missing. And
But
this
you're
is-
saying that this is an instance where I couldn't, no matter what.
Right.
If
and
there's, yeah.
Well, you could vote for the record, but your vote can't be counted to determine whether that matter rises or falls. So really, it's a proposal for the board to consider whether or not the mayor's vote should count in all of them, so that there is no confusion when he can vote, when he can't vote, or when that vote can be counted or not counted. It just seemed very, didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
what-
okay. Well, I mean, it's up to
integrated.
the board what they want to do.
Right, so
This
that's,
isn't something I asked them to.
this did not
trick
come
up.
from the mayor, that came from a discussion
This
Mike and I
isn't something
had.
I had, you know,
No, it's not.
so. Trustee Schultz?
I have no problem with the mayor expressing his will with regard to an issue. I mean, we have certain requirements regarding supermajorities on certain items, and I don't think that'll change any. So, I mean, it is what it is, and I have no problem with all of us expressing a valid vote on an issue.
But I don't think that's the question. The question is, should that vote count?
Well, yes, I mean, yes, it should. All right.
Well, you're
Thought I
saying,
was
which
close.
ordinances you gotta touch on?
There's
Just that
several of them.
ZBA one, or is there's more than that?
Well, for example, variation,
There's a bunch.
a rezoning,
Several.
if the planning and zoning committee says yes, then you can vote. If in a variation, your vote can count, but in a special use, it can't. In my opinion, there's no basis for making a distinction
Right.
amongst those three. And when you're just looking at the rezoning, the vote can count if the planning and zoning committee says yes, but if there's objector, it can't count. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Was that something to do with when we were a village as opposed to a
Home rule, non-home
home
rule?
rule? I mean, home rule, non-home rule?
Well, home
In the
rule,
back of my mind, I remember something weird about that.
home
but-
rule allows you to fix what I think.
Well,
it-
I agree, but I mean, I think it was the other way because of that.
When you're not home rule, you're bound by the statute.
Exactly.
And the statute has some inherent
Weird stuff.
limitations, but our non-home rule ordinance had other limitations.
Yes.
And when you put them together, it's confusion for no known reason that I can anticipate why you would allow a mayor to vote in one instance and not in
What-
another.
Go ahead, trustee Cook.
Well, the only question I'd ask you to look at is how it affects, as trustee Schultz brought up, the a two-third majority. Because when you've got 6 people, that's a 4-2 vote. And in theory, then you could wind up taking a 4-2 vote and making it 4-3, which is then no longer a two-third majority. You now require a 5-2. And I just want to see how it fits in with that.
I can create some projections to
Yeah.
see how that happens.
And I don't know exactly what all we've got that, I mean, that would just move our supermajority from 4-2 to 5-2, which is,
Right.
generally not that big a deal, but I want to make sure we're not,
Yeah, I was gonna say this to give me an opportunity to be, hit with the, thrust further into the decision-making process. If it's something of a controversial nature, I can't vote, where I probably would.
How do you think I
no
felt
matter
today?
what.
I can't vote.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah,
couldn't even ask a question.
I don't want to duck anything.
You've never been one to shy away from
No,
an
I mean,
issue.
yeah, I mean,
and some
no.
mayors choose to.
No,
take
it's,
that out.
no, I wouldn't, that would, if this cleans up a couple of those things, that'd be fine, if you want to do it.
It's
If
just-
you-
I think it should be cleaned up, but as
Yeah, sure, check.
Tom said, there's several areas, I think, that the two-thirds being one of them.
And then the other benefit is on the rare occasions when one or two of you are missing and there's a vote for on the Kemper costs, when Jean is recusing herself, then we don't risk not having enough votes to pass that. I think that happened only once. in
yeah,
my
see, that
memory.
was the other side of what I was saying.
Okay.
That would then, if somebody has to abstain, we could now still get a 4-2.
Right.
So that's why I want to see how it fits into that.
Right.
Yeah, okay, we'll figure it out, Bob, and then just bring it back.
And then would that also affect how I don't remember which ordinance, it was something to do with the majority of the sitting board versus the majority of the
Well-
quorum that's there, and all of that comes
It-
into play, so.
Right, it goes to the quorum. If some of these matters, only the Board of Trustees gets to vote. Some of these matters, the corporate
The
authorities
corporate
gets to vote.
authorities, right.
And what this does is it makes all these votes corporate authority votes. But I'll look at how the scenario comes out on that 2/3 and the
Right. All right.
3/4.
Is that it now?
Thank you. Yes.
All right.
Gotta be done, just shut it off.
Motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
There's a motion, a second, roll call, please.
Trustee Schwartz?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Hebda?
Aye.
Trustee Cook?
Aye.
Trustee Markwart? Trustee Schultz?
Aye.
All right, okay, motion carries, thank you, good night, have a nice